kaya makatulong yun?
Yeah, pero Prof, ito kasing
Cycle.
surge na ito,
Yeah.
ibig sabihin ay hindi ganun kalaki yung epekto ng akap.
Tama.
No?
Hindi matatapatan eh.
Itong surge na ito, dapat kahit papano, natatapatan nila yon kahit papano, di ba? Yung mga surveys na lumalabas, at least dalawang surveys na lumabas, ay parang walang epekto yung akap.
Yeah.
No?
I don't think any event will approximate the incarceration of a deity like President
This is
Duterte.
unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
This is
literally.
wild
Yes,
territory.
but it's a battle of narrative.
Yes.
Ang problema, yung narrative ng mga biktima, hindi naririnig. Ang
Yes.
naririnig ay yung narrative ng nakapositive kong,
tama.
27 medicines yung iniinom araw-araw, tapos he was na-violate yung kanyang human rights, na-violate yung kanyang due process. So yun yung dominant eh.
Yeah.
Ibig sabihin, in that propaganda
Province
war,
of Hague daw tayo,
They're
province
making
of
points,
Hague.
yeah.
in the propaganda war, natatalo yung gobyerno.
Tama.
So kinakailangan mag-scale up yung gobyerno o ayusin yung narrative. No, dahil NGO, civil society can do only so much.
Yeah.
Yung gobyerno talaga ang aasahan na
To drive the
mag-create
narrative.
ng isang
Okay, let's
narrative.
talk about that. Speaking of the narrative, the way I see it is parang organic, spontaneous yung narrative nila nagde-develop because of the hearings, right?
Yeah.
Like Remulla admitting the justice system failed. I think that was because they were berated by Aimee in the Senate. The
But
Remulla
there's a context,
right.
Please.
Please.
The justice system failed during the time. That they were very clear, di ba? Na
During
the
the time of
the
Duterte.
framing was that there was nothing anyone could do because nobody could file a case.
Yeah.
Locally.
Kasi dinodoktor sa baba pa lang.
So, but I want to tease out from Seke yung magandang point niya about narratives eh. And it doesn't have to be propaganda for the administration. It can be actually a serious discussion of what is
Principled communication strategy.
of something as legitimate as the victims.
Yeah.
Diba? There are real victims. It did really happen. And that the goal moving forward is to not let it happen again. And that's talking about reforms, talking about maybe compensation for those who were truly victimized,
Truth Commission.
unjustly victimized by this, and maybe even rejoining the ICC. So maybe, you're right, sir, yung narrative.
Some issues for the narrative are slow burn.
Yeah.
Ang kailangan ngayon is quick burn.
Yeah.
No, ano ba yung peg sa narrative at
Time
saka
frames
na mabilisan magkakaroon ng impact?
May
Dahil
idea kasi-
1 month na lang eh.
Anong tingin mo? Anong kailangan ilang focus? Kasi maganda
Or
yung point
how
mo
do
na-
you separate the more long-term and the gestation versus the high
Kasi
impact?
if I
please.
was going to, and this is not because I'm Okta na anymore.
This is your political science hat,
Na maganda pag-usapan rin yung sinimulan ng presidente, nung sinimula yung kampanya, yung us versus them, yung comparison na yun na hindi naman
walang-
na-articulate
Correct.
ng
You mean the Lawag speech?
The Lawag
The Lawag
speech was, I
speech,
think,
yeah, that was the best
framing,
moment, the
the
finest
framing
moment.
Ang
Yeah.
problema, walang sumakay na senatorial candidate niya.
Kasi dahil nga...
Kasi walang credibility.
Hindi, I think they just don't want to alienate anyone.
Playing safe.
Playing safe. And this kind of contest, mukhang that might actually work. That's the Senator Marcos' position to alienate any group, diba?
Is it that, or is it she's actively trying to court the other side and she end up losing both
now,
sides?
yes, it's that now.
Kasi-
But initially it was to be at the center of things, diba?
Yeah.
Not to discuss. And in fact, that position is what Senator Kiko and former Senator Kiko and Senator Bam are doing now, focusing on their core issues.
Gut issues.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big stories of the Okta survey. They're actually surging. We never...
Ang kaibahan lang,
Oh.
ibig sabihin kahit may nagsa-surge, masyado masikip eh.
Oh,
Meron kang most probably 8 administration,
Yeah.
2 independent, and possibly 2 administration.
Pinaglalaban mo mga isa,
Dalawang
Oo.
Duterte side. Dalawang Duterte
Yeah.
side.
Possibly
Bongo and Bato.
Bato and Bongo. Tapos meron kang Ben Tulfo and Willie Revillame.
Yeah. Oo.
Tapos meron kang Balon na strong admin.
Yes.
So,
Hirap
parang
nun,
numinipis na eh.
Yeah.
Anong sabi ni Prof? Yung
Tightening.
nagko-constrict na yung labanan, no? Kaya
So how can they stand out?
Even if there's
Yeah.
a surge, no?
Yeah, exactly. So how can they break that kind of parang kumbaga deadlock kumbaga, di ba? Are they the same?
Divine intervention.
Well, aside from your spiritual Padre Leamaso, no, honestly, some would say that Bam and Kiko are not necessarily doing the same thing. That maybe Kiko actually is much clearer in terms of the issue of Sara impeachment or the ICC issue, while Bam seems to be much more inclusive.
Yeah, but the data is
Or
showing
ambivalent.
but the data is showing the bump is experienced by Bam.
Rather than
Kiko. And he's he's steady. The
Bam
numbers are
is
steady.
about 4%.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that from January to now, about 6% sa Okta.
Than Kiko.
No, not Kiko, but his
Kung
own
January,
numbers
from
from January to today.
From the previous survey ng Okta, 4.
Yeah. From
So
the
his
previous
strategy
four,
is more vindicated. Except there's one possibility. What if Kiko is the secret candidate who will have that 5 to 10% bump should the day
Could
come?
be.
Then that will cancel out whatever.
What's this talk about secret candidate? Why don't you
No,
enlighten me?
but isn't historically that the case that in the Senate race, Sir Ronald, that there's a
Dahil
formal
12
slate?
12 yung candidate ng administration, nabawasan ng isa.
Yes.
Si Aimee.
Yes.
So, meron ba silang ipapalit doon?
Yes,
sa number 12?
Hindi ba si Ben Tulfo?
No?
Ay.
Well, pwede nilang kunin si Willie Revillame, pwedeng kunin si Kiko Orbang.
Yun.
No? Hindi naman sila kukuha sa mga Duterte.
Definitely yun.
So kukuha sila either sa independent.
Yeah.
Halimbawa, si Willie Revillame kasi dinadala ni Cheese.
Yeah.
No? Pwede ring one of the pinks, Kiko or Bam,
Yeah.
baka mahirapan kung dalawa. So, yan ngayon yung mga nego. Yan ngayon yung mga
Doon sa pink
calculation na
movement,
ginagawa.
doon sa pink sa side na yun, no? Sa Liberal Party and their own movement.
Well, Bam is going independent.
Yeah, I know,
right?
it's independent, no?
Bam is saying basically he's
Yeah, but
independent.
you know, is there some resurgence of alam mo balita sa inyo? Are they going to organize? Are they organizing? Is everybody in that network?
Well,
moving
they can only organize so much. Dahil hindi naman kasi partido yung pink
Yun nga
sa
eh.
movement.
Yeah.
No? So,
Na medyo spontaneous masyado.
Baka
Yeah.
too late naman
Yeah.
to create a new brand.
A spark, no?
Dahil 1 month na lang yung natitira.
Mhm.
No? So, malaking bahagi na are negotiations. No?
Yeah.
Negotiations with
Local politicians,
influence
yeah.
groups,
Yeah.
local politicians, religious groups
Yes.
like Iglesia ni Cristo,
Yeah.
etc. No?
Yeah.
So, tingin ko, yan naman yung ginagawa nila
Yeah.
early pa in the campaign. Pero ngayon kasi, dahil nagta-tighten na, tapos halos nawawala na yung 1 to 2 of possible na
Opening.
na pinagtatalunan, no? Nagsasara na nga. Baka pati nga yung isa nawawala na.
Yun nga eh.
No?
Sana kung may dalawa pa, kaya pa eh. Pero
Yeah.
isa na lang ang pinaglalabanan na pwesto eh.
What about tactical voting? Yung idea na, kunyari, ikaw ay supporter ng genuine opposition. You want enough, kasi ang usapan dito ay impeachment ni Sara eh, di ba? The idea is, Kiko and Bam, of course, you want both of them in. But you also don't want some of the independent ones na within the range na pwede pa rin talunin na mukhang mas on the other side. So you can help some of the alyansa na mas sigurado ka who could vote against Sara.
Siguro yun yung difference ng mga ibang survey. Halimbawa,
Diba?
sa survey ng Okta ay mga number 9 si Bato. Sa survey ng isa, number 2.
Three.
No? 2 to 3.
Three,
yeah.
So medyo malaking difference yun.
Yeah.
No? Sa survey ng Okta, si Bato ay pwede pang talunin.
Yeah,
Doon
pwede pa malaglag,
sa survey ng iba ay baka mahirapan na.
Yeah.
So, yan yung
Hindi, for instance, Pacquiao, sa F-survey nyo, may chance pa. And I won't be
12,
surprised
yeah.
that maybe Pacquiao will be on the right side of
dahil,
history.
dahil si Pacquiao kasi number 12.
Should you help Pacquiao if you're also
tapos
supporter
kung
of Bam?
mag-scale up siya, tapos with the
admin.
admin machinery,
Pwede.
May chance siya kumpara dun sa mga nasa labas ng 12 na hindi admin.
Yes.
Right.
No, yun ang sinasabi ko. Na,
Yeah.
Kumpara dun sa mga nasa labas ng 12 na hindi admin, mas may chance yung nasa dulo na 12 na admin. No? Going into the home stretch.
Yes.
Pero bagong phenomena kasi yung ganitong klaseng surge.
Yeah, you know, medyo
it's different.
incredible
Wow.
Kaya nga ang tanong ko kay Prof, nangyayari ba yan in the past? Ang alam ko kasi hindi eh. Meron kang surge ng mga 5% sa compared to sa previous survey cycle.
Yeah.
Ito kasi nag-surge ka ng 15%.
Yeah.
Ano? Sa
More than
isang-
that for some.
In one survey cycle.
Yeah, except these are people with very low base.
Yeah.
And there's a ceiling, right? It looks like there's a ceiling
Yes,
too.
pero
Yeah, but this is
even
our
then-
second survey
Interesting.
observing this rise eh. So will it continue in April? This is something that
Right.
we don't have data
Yun
yet.
nga, ako kasi, again, this is speculative,
Yeah.
but my sense is,
Lahat naman dito speculative.
no. But there is the good speculative, there's the bad, and there's the ugly speculative. Hindi naman ito yung mga malapolvoron level na speculative.
Hindi yung speculative.
Deep fake, yeah. No, but going back to this, ako kasi my sense is like, if your Jimo Bondok who were like 4 or 5%, going let's say even up to 20-25%, makes perfect sense. You know why? Because 20% of the people are aligned to Duterte.
Yeah, that's
so
the preference
and then
survey, yeah.
so I won't be surprised if more or less that's it,
Yeah.
right? And we can see that, like Philip Salvador also is the dark horse, but it's not going way beyond the 20%-ish na solid idea. So I see here more consolidation of all Duterte-aligned candidates rather than a kind of an absolute jump, including the ceiling shifting. I don't know. That's one way of reading it for me.
Another way of reading it is to accept the fact that there's a surge. There was an extraordinary circumstance or context that sparked the surge. But by accepting that, all the other forces can recalibrate.
Recalibrate, which is what we're discussing,
I think that's a rational thing, no? To accept that it happened and to see what you can do to curtail the surge. And I think because...
So you're saying accept that this surge is not like forever. It's not
Yeah,
permanent.
it's not,
it
yeah,
could be
it-
temporary.
yeah,
May
it could be
dalawang
temporary.
may dalawang variable tayo na pinag-uusapan eh. Yung
Mm.
isa ay yung senatorial election.
Yeah.
Most probably, itong surge na ito, sinasabi ni Prof, ay yes, may surge, pero
May hangganan.
hindi inaasahan na magkakaroon ko ulit ng 15% jump
Another
in the
one.
next
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
next
yeah,
survey
yeah.
before the elections.
Yeah.
No?
Yun yung ceiling na sinasabi ko, yeah.
Baka may limit yan.
Mm.
No? Hindi ko alam kung ano yung science dyan.
Mm.
So, isa yon. But even kung hindi manalo, which is more probable, hindi manalo yung karamihan ng kandidato ng Duterte opposition, which is practically 10. Kahit may surge sila at
Yeah.
hindi sila makakanalo, yun yung second variable. This is a referendum on the
President,
government, on the
yeah.
president. The very fact na sila ay nag 15-20% is a reflection na yung Duterte opposition ay kahit hindi manalo,
It's alive and kicking.
meron silang fuel to burn.
Yes.
At yung gobyerno ay medyo bumabagsak in terms of approval rating. Kahit hindi sila manalo ngayon so going into 2028, delikado yon. No, kung sino man yung
Staying
kandidato,
power, yeah.
kung sino man yung kandidato ng administrasyon, ng dispensation, present dispensation, going into 2028, no, medyo may kaunti silang problema, no? Hindi pala, malaking problema.
Malaking problema. So let's talk about that. You guys have done a lot of surveys of matchups. Hindi lang Rafi versus Sara, but last time I checked, you have ideas of possible matchups to the degree that you can share, because I know that everything is not for public consumption. Prof. Ranjit, what are we looking at in terms of 2028? Because the window here is not the next month, the window here is the next 3 years or so.
Yeah, I know. Well, I can't talk about details, but
Yeah, to the degree that you can share, yeah.
So, as of December last year, I think Rafi Tulfo was leading in our matchup, one-on-one matchup.
Same
By the
with
way,
others,
yeah,
yeah.
same as. But since Feb, numbers are beginning to slip.
Because...
Because there's a surge of support.
but is it also because Rafi is so quiet?
Well, it's possible. It's also
Well, I mean,
it's
like,
a
I haven't
confluence of all of those things,
Yeah,
definitely. But she's on top right now. The VP
Yeah.
Duterte is on top as far as
Backing
her backing
it,
is
yeah.
concerned. But of course, to those watching our show, this is of course premature. 2020 is
Very
a long time.
premature, yeah.
But she has momentum. The Duterte camp has some momentum. I agree with Sec Ronald that has a limit, especially when the empire strikes back, when the administration starts rolling in rolling out its resources, I should say, and its networks of support. I think that to some extent that will find a ceiling. And that's and what according to SEC, it's 5 to 10%. That's huge. We don't have data to.
But that's a
validate it.
historical
Yeah, but that's
trend line,
historical. Yeah, so that's big. That has an impact on 9, 10, 11, 12. Honestly.
Yung factor ni Tulfo, malaking factor kasi yung hindi ka nagpapakilala as a presidential candidate.
Yes.
Si Sara kasi nagpakilala na, tatakbo ko.
Algo alin.
Di kwan yun, value added sa kanya yun. Tingin ko si Rafi Tulfo is calculating na magpapakilala siya after the midterm elections. No, doon siya magpapakilala.
Para hindi mukhang premature ambitious.
Kaya pwedeng magbago 'yon. Pwedeng
Yeah.
magbago 'yan dahil malaking factor kasi yung interesado kang tumakbo. Kung hindi ka interesado, ba't ka iboboto ng mga tao? Di ba? Bakit ka tataas sa survey? Hindi ka naman interesado. So, yun. Tingin ko doon sa...
So in short, okay.
Let me contribute to
Please,
that.
okay, please,
So,
yeah.
tama si Isek eh. Hindi nagpapakilala, ayaw magpakilala dahil ayaw maging magnet no, ng criticism.
And
at
doesn't
saka
look like taking advantage of this for his own personal
but think
purposes.
about it,
Exactly, yeah.
When you look at our last surveys, ang differential lang naman is 4 or 5 points. Kaya imagine, hindi pa siya nagpapakilala, tapos 4 or 5 points na yung ano. Then distant third would be Lenny Robredo. So, like, double digits naman, pero distant third. So yun yung yung nakikita namin yung mga pangalan na lumulutang. Then of course, there's Amy Marcos, there's Lisa Ontiveros.
Robin Hood Padilla.
No, not sa presidential. Sa
Vice President.
Sa
Sorry, I
malakas.
mean for tandem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sa tandem, mukhang sa ulo, malakas pa rin si
Wait,
Tulfo.
so if Sara gets for some reason impeached, isn't Robin Hood the natural next one to run on their side?
Yes, but not necessarily a frontliner.
Yes, yeah.
Iba kasi, iba yung, karamihan naman sa nag-top sa Senate, hindi naman
Nanalo
nag-prosper as a
president.
presidential candidate.
But they tried, at
Yeah,
least.
Yeah. At ikalawa, medyo malaki na kasi nakilala rin kay Robin Hood Padilla since naging senador siya.
In terms of kakulangan.
So, ibig sabihin, the bubble burst. No? The bubble burst.
Yun ang problema niya.
So,
And 3 more years pa for that bubble to
meron
further
kasi mga
burst.
iba na they're always winnable as senators.
Yeah.
But never for a higher position.
Yeah, yun na yun.
Halimbawa, si Lorna, si
Laren Legarda.
Lauren Legarda, no?
Lorna
Lagi siyang mataas, nasa top 1, top 2
Top
sa
three, yeah.
Senate, pero never siya nag-prosper beyond the Senate. No? Yun yung isang
So, may mga
halimbawa.
brand,
Maraming
mga
ganun,
yung
ha?
brand, Oh, yeah. But the names like Jesus Cordero, they're also in the list.
Yeah, they're in the
They're
mix.
In the list. And then, you won't believe, no? People like Mayor Magalong, suddenly
Yeah, no.
but very low, but
I will believe we've been discussing
So,
this,
it's premature to talk about 2020 really. But
But
except
how
to say,
can you,
except to
no,
say
but
that
how
there
can you
are
say premature when Sarah already throw her hat into the ring and her being number 1 in service to be the next president will obviously affect how
But there's
senators
so much
will
dynamic.
decide
I'm saying
on the
I'm saying
issue
it
of
in the sense that
trials.
there's so much dynamic, no?
Sure.
Yeah. But that statement aside, there are 2 dominant candidates. It seems like consistently over the last 6 months, we're tracking, it's really Sara Duterte and Rafi Tulfo.
And Lenny not running or running will favor Rafi more or not?
Yeah, I think it will favor Rafi more.
If she doesn't run.
If she doesn't run.
So there'll be a
Kung
consolidation.
sakaling ma-impeach si Sara at hindi siya mag-resign,
Ibang usapan
o
yan.
kung sakaling makonvict siya sa isang criminal case like plunder, etc., kung hindi na siya vice president, then that will level the playing field.
Yes.
No?
Then anyone can run, yeah.
Kung siya ay magsusurvive sa impeachment at saka criminal cases, then most probably the battle royale will be a Tulfo
Versus,
and a Sara.
It's possible.
Actually, the more battle royale, who will be the VP of Tulfo? Because I'm sure many
Yeah.
will. Yun ang mas battle royale.
Maraming pwedeng kombinasyon.
Yeah,
eh.
exactly.
So, you have Tulfo Grace po, Tulfo
Yeah,
Riza,
exactly.
Tulfo...
Ang problema, hindi
Speaker
naman-
Romualdez, ha?
Exactly.
So, possible,
Romualdez,
no?
Ang
exactly.
problema, if you're Sara, tatakbo ka for president, ba't ka kukuha ng vice president na hindi naman value added sa'yo? Usually, kukuha ka ng vice president na hindi sa'yo para makadagdag. Halimbawa, kung ikaw
Kaya
taga
sa
Mindanao,
norte, no?
kukuha ka
Aimee.
ng taga
You
Luzon.
get Aimee.
Kung babae ka, kuha ka ng lalaki.
Yeah.
Kung ikaw ay PDP labang, kuha ka sa ibang partido.
Eh, Senator
Oh,
Robin
usually-
Padilla, wala pong value added.
Yun
Malaki
yung,
naman value added natin.
Well, I doubt it. I doubt it. Dahil,
There's no gray area there.
parehas sila ng constituency. eh.
Tama.
Diba? Kung
Actually,
halimbawa-
parang sumakay lang siya
Oh,
kay Sara.
halimbawa, kung tatakbo si Rafi Tulfo, kukuha siya ng hindi niya ka-constituency
Yeah.
para madagdag sa kanya yon. No?
Mm.
Yun yung logic.
Or maraming resources.
Yun yung
Say,
logic.
Or maraming
Oh.
resources.
Okay, I'll reveal something also.
Ah, sige,
6
eto na.
months, ha?
Eto
So,
na.
without going to details.
Yeah.
The strongest tandem for VP Sara Duterte, if she's able to escape all of this and
Is
survive,
Aimee.
is Aimee Marcos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
North-south.
There's no tandem, including that
Yeah.
of Tulfo or whoever he chooses.
But if she loses the Senate,
Yeah,
she will
that's-
not look like a viable.
If she is destroyed, halimbawa, hindi lang siya matalo. Yung pagkatalo niya ay grabe.
Pahiya talaga. Oo. She will
Ay,
not be considered.
baka hindi na siya politically viable.
But you guys still didn't answer the question. I mean, first of all, let me say before I forget, I think Rafi has a good situation in the sense that now he can be tactically quiet
Yes.
and be but he can go all in later on and
Yes.
more than make up for that.
Yeah.
So okay pa siya. I think
Yeah.
he's still
And,
in the goods.
And magkakaroon siya ng
Like, oh my God. Although embarrassment of riches sometimes may not work in your favor, right?
yeah.
That has never happened before.
Yeah.
Tatlong
But
senador,
you
no?
still guys haven't answered me. If Sara is disqualified for any reason, impeach, whatever, convict, kasi there's even one scenario, even if mag-resign siya, pwede pa rin siya ma-disqualify because he can still be held. But the
Kung
point is,
mag-resign siya, pwede siyang kasuhan ng criminal case.
that's what I'm saying.
Diba?
So if
So hindi siya tatantanan, Sek?
Oh.
mukhang yun ang sasabihin ng Congress, hindi siya tatantanan. They will really disqualify her no
I
matter
have
if
to
she
be, I have to be the
So,
I have to
preemptive
be,
resignation.
I have to be the person of objectivity in this conversation
Yeah.
because I'm a member of the civil service now.
Oo nga pala,
Did you
oh,
just,
yeah.
Did you just read the memo?
Oo nga pala,
Hindi mo ba napansin? Hindi mo ba napansin na
Did you get the memo?
I am very
Hindi mo ba
objective.
napansin na objective din kami?
Objective.
Napansin ko nga.
Lalo ako, andito lang ako with Boxer. No, but this is the last one I want to ask. Like, okay, if Sara is disqualified, who will run for them? Bongo, Robin Hood,
Hey.
Baste?
Don't count Bongo out if he's number one here.
That's what I'm saying.
He makes a strong argument. For
And
that
don't
side.
count out Bongo's dynamics with Sara.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not,
yeah.
they're not on the same page.
Duda ako kung magsasama sila.
Yeah,
Duda ako, yeah,
Oo.
exactly.
Ikalawa, kahit mag-top si Bongo sa Senate,
Hindi sigurado rin.
no, ibang usapin yung nag-top
President.
at yung tatakbo for president.
Yeah, that's true.
Dahil napakalaki ng charisma ni Bongo. Imagine mo siya.
Parang hindi ka convinced sa sinabi mo.
Parang hindi ka convinced.
Biglang nag-pause ka. Yung mga pause eh.
Hindi mo napansin na sarcastic
Oo
ako.
nga, medyo it's so thick. But Sek,
Pero
di ba
number
pwedeng
one pa
vice
rin siya
president? Number one pa rin siya. Boss, malaking bagay.
I mean, hindi siya mag-number one sa last one,
Vice
but
president,
still.
pwede
Yeah.
siguro.
Well,
no?
depende kung sino yung
Oh, ayun,
presidente
sino
niya.
yung ulo, no?
Dahil I doubt kung magsasama sila ni Sara,
Definitely,
president. at saka
Yun nga, di ba? Yun yung problema nila. Without Sara, what are their options? Bongo, Baste, Robin Hood? Parang, di ba? Biglang, like, it's so dependent on Sara eh.
Yeah, but here's the point, and Sek has rightly pointed this out. If this administration continues to
Underperform.
underperform,
That's-
be suboptimal,
Yeah.
no matter what happens, that will be an argument for their side.
Yeah.
And I think that's their major perspective now. Just leave the administration do exactly what it's doing, and we'll take over in 2028. Whether
So basically,
there
the
can't
point,
be any. But if Sec argued, if there's a U-turn, diba? The administration continues to focus on the ball, good governance, sustainable, equitable development, a real U-turn, baka the moderate candidates have a space.
basically, the government has all the cards, right?
Yeah.
And yet, what is missing, Sir Ronald? The government has all the cards. I mean, the way I look at it, if you were to
Is that a question?
it is a demand. It's a request for unsolicited advice.
No comment on my side.
Civil service.
Parang yung tinatanong mo, ano mo yung sagot eh.
Bakit Sir Ronald parang
And if
nag-hedge ka na ngayon?
Richard, if you knew the answer, alam mo, that will be it, di ba?
I am totally clueless. I'm an innocent
Hindi,
mind.
kaya mo naman sagutin.
So,
I think people understand the purpose of this show is you will say what I don't want to say myself. So thank you so much. Eto na, I think this triple R thing has a future.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah.
so much, guys. Na talagang the good, the bad, and the amazing, the most amazing, the most amazing host. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this latest episode of FYI, hindi lang voter education, pampapamilya pa. Kabuhayan Showcase. Triple R. The good, the bad, and the most
One of the few times na
amazing.
hindi natin pinag-usapan si Asylum Seeker.
Ayan. And by the way, for the very first time, wala tayong Harry Roque special edition. So that will be our next episode. Where in the world is Harry? Alright, thank you so much. Maraming salamat. Oh, ano, wala tayong Harry Roque. Oh, wait. Live pa tayo.